After the elections, I am a little bit confused with the years, Catherine. After the elections,
It was November 2006 was the election, then Daniel Ortega took office January 10th of 2007.
2007, that's right.
Right. Yeah, it's always confusing. It's like here, because the elections are in 1 year and then they take office in another year. It's always.
In 2007, Ortega took office. You see. Then what happened? We had some members in Congress. 2 years later, Ortega, controlling and dominating the Supreme Court of Justice, decided that we were an outlaw party. And our party had no any right to exist anymore and to participate in any future elections. So we were not able to participate in the municipal elections in year 2008. That's right, in year 2008. So that was the first basic sign that that situation was getting worse. So one of our leaders, Dora Maria Tellez, arranged a hunger strike protesting against that, but the situation is difficult. It's difficult. So what is the situation now? The problem in Nicaragua is that Ortega is until now the elected president of Nicaragua. Everybody recognized that he was elected. He got 38% in that election. But now, in these last 4 or 5 years, he has been able to control and to dominate most of the institutions that's supposed to be independent from the executive branch. So he controls now the Supreme Court of Justice. He controls the electoral body. He controls the General Accounting Office we have in Nicaragua. And even he controls Parliament. He got only 38%, but he controlled Parliament, basically through corruption. Through corruption, about 12 to 13 members of Congress went to his party, from the liberals and even from our party, especially from the liberals. And they vote with Ortega. So he controls Parliament. He controls everything. And what is worst regarding the corruption issue is that he controls the Venezuelan aid. You know, Venezuela, the Venezuelan government gives to Nicaragua and to many other countries in the Caribbean and Latin America, about 19 countries receive the same kind of aid as Nicaragua. They give to Nicaragua the oil half price. So you can take the other half of the money and use for social purposes, for investment, for everything. But that's something that has to be decided by whom? By Parliament. By Parliament. So every year now, Ortega is getting about $500 million as a result of this half credit. And it's not clear. You ask anyone in Nicaragua, nobody knows exactly what's going on with the money. It is clear that one part of this money has been used for different social programs, like that Zero Hunger program, independently of how effective those programs have been, but some money has been used for that. But that's without control. Most of the countries that receive the Venezuelan aid, what they do is they receive that money and they put it into the national budget. And then Parliament, they decide how much is going to be used in education, how much is going to be used in health, how much is going to be used for credit for poor people, etc., etc. And then the General Accounting Office can supervise how the money is used. But now that doesn't happen. What Ortega did, and we have to say that clearly, with the support of President of Venezuela, what Ortega did was to privatize the process of how to deal with the money. So a private company controls the money. They have no obligation to explain what's going on, you see, and on how they are using the money. So that problem, that $500 million, that is about 1/3 of our national budget, 1/3 of our national budget, is out of control, is inevitably creating corruption in different levels. That's one of our main criticism. When I say our, I'm talking about MRS, to the Ortega government. Why to manage in that way the Venezuelan aid? The other purpose is that to manage that money in that way allows you to use it for your own personal purposes or party purposes, etc., etc. That's one of the main problems. The other problem we have in Nicaragua, the other basic problem, aside from that of corruption and the problem of the lack of transparency on the Venezuelan aid, the other problem is el retroceso. I know how to say retroceso. We have had
Going
the retreat.
backward, but going backward or
We
retreat.
are going back in terms of institutions, as I said before. So what happened? Just to give you some examples. The Constitution says that it can be a candidate, someone that has been twice president in Nicaragua, and can be candidate either the current president can present himself as candidate for the next. He simply, as he controls the Supreme Court of Justice, the Supreme Court of Justice ruled that that article of the Constitution is unconstitutional. It's something illogical. It's against the interest of someone. But basically, what they said is that article of the Constitution is against the Constitution. It's unconstitutional. Just to give you an idea. Second, for example, the Constitution says that when the president appoints a minister, name a minister, it should be ratified by Parliament. Ortega has simply decided never to ratify. So all the ministers that he has named in the last 4 years are not ratified by Parliament. The Constitution says too that ambassadors that are going to other countries should be ratified by Parliament. Ortega decided, no, I'm not going to do that. Let's say another aspect, the Constitution says that if a military vessel from another country wish to get into our national waters, Parliament should ratify or accept that. It does not. There have been some cases in which some military vessels have entered into Nicaraguan waters and Parliament is not there. So there has been, it is a very serious situation. For example, another, the law, the Constitution says that member of the Supreme Court of Justice, a member of the electoral body should be elected every 5 years, that their term is for a period of 5 years. So all the members of the electoral body now have finished their terms. And as Ortega didn't have the votes in parliament to re-elect them, he decided by executive decree that they are going to continue, and they are organizing the current elections. See, for example, the military law in Nicaragua says that the director of the police will last 5 years. His term will be 5 years, and after that he should retire, go to retirement. But Ortega said, no, I think that's a good thing. We have a good police director now. It's a woman. But against law, he said, no, she's a good director. She's going to continue. He's still the director of the police in Nicaragua. So it's an attitude so with lack of respect to Constitution that we have gotten to the conclusion why Ortega do that. Because, for example, in the case of the director of the police, he had the possibility, legal possibility, to keep her in her post. How? Simply sending the proposal of a reform to the military law, and he has the votes in parliament to approve that reform. But he did that. He didn't do that. So we now what conclude is that he has decided to send a message to the Nicaraguan population that what rules the country, that what rules our society is not constitution, is not law, is political will. That's the message. You see? So that's the other serious problem. I talk about two problems: corruption, basic problem, and second one, this institution. So that's the situation now. Just now, for example, Ortega, through the president of the electoral body, is threatening the candidates of the MRS in the list for member of Congress to not to allow them to be candidates and to take them out of the list. Simply arbitrary. Simply an attitude that we Sandinistas that fought against a dictatorship that was the origin of law, not the origin of law, but the origin of how the country is organized. In the times of Somoza was the same. Law was not respected. Constitution was not respected, and simply what decided what would happen in Nicaragua was the president, was the caudillo or the dictator. So Sandinistas in the MRS now, in general terms, would say we have to stop that.